financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is debt and taxes. Save me in 2020. We'll start with the savior, Brian Small. Good morning.
Ken, did you say debt and taxes or death and taxes? Because
Two
of those things you can't get out from under.
Which two?
Death and taxes.
Who said
Shakespeare.
that? Who said that?
But those are the two things I deal with.
No. Death, yeah, I understand, but everybody's...
Because you do probate.
Yeah, but
Right.
nobody's getting out of this alive. And everybody knows you can't escape from the IRS.
Well, on that note, let's introduce Mr. Fun Stuff, who deals with death and taxes, Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning, Ken.
Scott, another
Good
fun
morning.
guy, Scott Weinberg, dealing with criminal issues.
That's right. Good morning.
And the happy face of the group.
Because I deal with nursing homes all the time.
There you go. That's good. Okay. All right. Let's remember we talked about Rick and Mary just recently in a different show. We had Jeff Kirshner here, and we were dealing with Rick's disability, and then he went and got an OUI, or drunk driving, and Scott was helping him. But Rick and Mary had debt problems as well.
I
told you you didn't get to talk about it then, but I'd bring it back to you.
I am slightly surprised that you actually remembered that
Their names?
the names were Rick and Mary, because you have changed names throughout many shows, like even within the same show.
Even when I have an outline that has their names, I usually manage to mess them up. And sometimes I mess up the names in the outline. Okay. But I've got it straight this time.
True stuff.
Rick is 52, Mary's 48. Let me recap the scenario. Married, 2 kids. Rick is a painter, residential exterior homes and interiors, self-employed, in business for 30 years. His back, he blew out his back. He's disabled. He cannot work. He had to give up his jobs. He's getting in 15% referral fees on his jobs coming in, and on new jobs he's able to bring in and still market, and giving the work to friends of his who are in the business. He owes $60,000 in back taxes, $20,000 from 2015, $20,000 from 2016, $20,000 from 2017. He's got $100,000 of credit card debt. He still has $45,000 of available credit on those cards, just kind of throwing it out there. He's got a home, $250,000 market value, 1 mortgage, $210,000, so there's $40,000 in equity. Mary has a $10,000 IRA. Their income before disability combined, Rick was making $100,000, Mary was making $50,000. They had $12,500 coming in. Post disability, Mary's been able to get a raise. She's making $60,000. Rick is making $10,000. They've got monthly gross income of $5,833. So they've gone from $12,500 down to $5,833. We know from Jeff Kirshner's advice, through this disability process, it's going to take about 18 months for Rick to get approved. And then he's going to get about $2,000 a month, and he's also going to get caught up on a year and a half's back disability. So he's going to get a big check when he finally gets the money. The question for you guys is survival between now and then and going forward. Now let me throw up their budget on the screen. Their income before, $9,375 a month. This is after tax. Their income going forward, $4,066. After their expenses, house payment, cars, utilities, credit cards, tax payment on the back taxes is $750 a month. Credit cards, $2,500 a month. Their net, before he became disabled, he had about $425 left per month. Not a lot, but he was paying his bills, including the credit card debts. Now they're $4,200 in the hole every month. What are we going to do? What about the credit card debt, Brian? What about the taxes, Jeff?
Well, the first solution we're going to look at when Rick and Mary come into the office is, can they file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy? And the reason for that is we always look at what is going to be the least costly, most effective method to get out of debt. And in this case, based on the circumstances, the income that's coming in, the expenses that have to go out, and the type of debt that they have, the credit cards and the income tax debt, I'm going to be able to put, if they walked in and said, I need to file today, we could accomplish getting rid of most of the debt through a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Hey, Brian, is it better to file before the Social Security is approved?
Yes. Well, and that's the key here. The question is if we file today, what is the result?
What about the taxes?
Yeah, you owe
So-
$60,000 in tax.
So if we file today, 2 years of the taxes of 3 that they owe for would be discharged in bankruptcy. Because the rule is a tax is dischargeable, an income tax is dischargeable, if it came due at least 3 years ago, has been filed for at least 2 years, and you haven't been assessed in the last 8 months.
So for
But is that
16,
from the
you got to
date
get.
of- But is that from the date of filing the Chapter 11 case, or is
Chapter
that the date
7
of the,
case?
Yeah, or is that the date of discharge?
It is the date of filing. So when I file the bankruptcy, the
So if
taxes had to have come due at least 3 years ago. They had to have been filed for at least 2 years, and they could have been in an assessment period in the last 8
All right,
months.
so Rick's 2016 liability, you'd have to wait till April 16th of 2020. So
Correct,
which
yeah.
is 4 months from
so,
now. No
so
big deal.
yeah, I mean, I can
So you can get
buy
rid of
4
2
months.
You can get rid of 2 years in
Right away.
4
It's
months.
that last year, Rick's 2017 tax liability, that if we file April 16 of next year, we can't get rid of. If we file
have to
today,
wait another year.
Right. If we file today, Rick's going to still have $40,000 worth of tax liability hanging out there
And if
after
you
the
filed in
bankruptcy.
4 months, you'd have 20. And if you filed in a year,
you
in
did
4
not.
months.
See, that's where it gets a little tricky. The question is do we have enough time to file and wait until
because you're worried
April
about the
of
Social
2021?
Security. Because
That's
you're worried
correct.
about Social Security. We got 18 months before he's going to get that money. So, or can he delay getting that money?
There's no way to delay getting the money. The process happens as it happens. The question is when should he file the bankruptcy?
I got 2 questions for you to come back from the break. Number 1 is, what about Mary's IRA? And number 2 is, what about their credit score?
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh,
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. I had two questions, but I'm going to hold them because an issue came up at the break when we were talking about the Social Security, the disability. What were you guys saying?
Well, what the issue is, should you file before your income disability is due?
So it's an interesting question. So if you apply for Social Security disability and you're immediately approved, which does happen.
It's not going to happen in Rick's case.
Not going to happen in
got
Rick's case.
He's got a back injury, and we know he could drive because he went and drove and got himself a drunk driving violation that Scott fortunately took care of, and his future's still there. So there's going to be a fight about his disability.
But let's start with, if you apply and you're immediately approved, you get a little bit of back pay, okay? And it's not a tremendous amount of money. And in the world of bankruptcy, we can protect a substantial amount of cash just sitting in the bank, up to $13,900 per person.
I'm pushing the reset button. I'm resetting because he's not going to get the money right
I understand.
away. I want to talk about that.
So now
it's going to be 18 months, and
maybe
he's going
even
to have
24 months.
He's going to have $36,000 coming.
Right,
That's the lump
36,
sum that'll
40,
kill 'em.
50,000
Yes.
coming, right? So a Chapter 7 bankruptcy takes a look at your assets. One of the assets that we can protect is your right to receive Social Security
In the
income
future. Yeah.
in the future. Not
Once
if you've
you've
already
received
received it.
So you need to file then before he gets that check.
Correct. We need to file it before
You know,
he
can I
gets the
just-
check, but I can file it a day before he gets the check.
You know, that's interesting because that's why working with the team like we have here is so important because I wouldn't know anything about the disability and the
I would-
taxes.
You've
The
got-
synergy between the
coordination
different.
is
Do you know
critical.
when you're going to get that check?
You know when you've been approved. Okay? Now then shortly, within 2 to 4 months after you've been approved, you will just arbitrarily have a check show up in your
So
bank
I think this issue is easy. We know we can get rid of 2 years, and then we get the Chapter 7 ready to file, but we don't file it hoping that we are able to get to beyond April of 2021 to get rid of 2017.
Assuming that Rick
And if-
didn't file for an extension. If he filed for an
Right, no,
extension, it's October.
We're
of
not going
2021.
to. Let's assume he didn't file for extension. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch it, and if you then find out from Jeff that this check is coming in 3 weeks, and it's only January of 2021, we're going to file the case and then deal with the $20,000 liability. But if we think that we're going to get beyond it, then we'll hold it.
Sure, but you
Is
know
that the
what?
plan?
It's a great plan, but here's one of the problems that I always get questioned. Well, Brian, I still owe $100,000 worth of credit card debt. You're telling me I've got to wait 18 months to file my bankruptcy. These people are calling me. They're driving me crazy. They're suing me. What do I do? And at that point, what we're doing is we're going to keep those creditors off of Rick's back. If necessary, we'll file answers to the complaints. We will.
Even if they sue?
If they
Are they
sue.
gonna sue him?
How long
They could.
How long does it take to actually get the lawsuit filed? Is it 2 years and
Oh, for the
and-
credit
and-
card company to sue?
Yeah.
So it can
depends.
be as short as 3 months. The usual that I see is we're seeing the lawsuits around no earlier than a year after you've defaulted. But sometimes they're a little more aggressive, sometimes they're less aggressive, sometimes they don't sue at all.
Some of the credit card companies are more aggressive than others. For instance,
Credit
Capital
unions,
One has all the great actors sponsoring their cards. I know Brian loves their points on one of their cards because we've had this discussion at lunch in terms of the number of points, but they're very aggressive. They go to suit quicker. Discover is very quick as well. Some of the other ones are slow. The point is, we know how to drag them out.
And not only do we
Rick
know
doesn't
how to,
have the money to pay them.
right, not only do we know how to drag them out, but we know how to make Rick uncollectible during the period of time that
very
we're
easy
waiting
right now.
to file
He has no
bankruptcy.
money. Right.
We will do things like, so the credit card debt, maybe it's if it's all Rick's, then I'm not going to have any money in Rick's name. If it's Mary and Rick's, because they both need to file the bankruptcy, I'm going to take legal steps to insulate their money and build walls between their money and their creditors.
Can I tell you the one wall that you really got to throw up that is completely unknown in this whole conversation? When's Rick's mom and dad going to die? Because if they die and he inherits money, IRA money is now collectible.
So one of the things that we do when we're doing a bankruptcy analysis is we will ask whether there's a likelihood of inheriting money.
Right.
Are your parents wealthy, not wealthy? And if there is a substantial likelihood that there's money coming to Rick and Mary, I'll have Rick and Mary's parents change their estate plan. Either we'll create
Do you
a
remember Bill and
spendthrift.
Martha? We
That's
talked
smart.
to them the
That's
other
a
day.
good
They
idea.
went their Social Security plan. They are not Rick and Mary's parents.
Oh, is that it? Good.
They're not really.
I mean, we'll have
You'd
them.
be surprised how many parents are just like
Yeah,
Bill
absolutely.
and Martha, and
They're-
then they pass away, and all of a sudden Rick gets his $300,000
You
ready
need
to
to
find.
do
Go, oh,
planning.
what the heck do I
Right.
do now?
Right. So
There is a
what-
plan that we put in
Oh,
place
yeah.
to stop that.
Yeah, we want to have their parents create a spendthrift trust
Right.
with discretionary powers to
Right.
the trustee, and we don't want Rick inheriting it directly
Which
or
is
Mary.
another great example of what you just said
Yeah.
before, the way we coordinate the issues together.
Right.
All right, we're coming up to the break, and I had my two questions, of which I haven't gotten to ask either of them. One is the IRA, which I'm going to save for after the break for Jeff, and also about the taxes. But what about their credit score?
So again,
Rick's worried about his credit score.
you know what? And that is the great thing that Visa and MasterCard love, that people are worried about their credit score. And so they will try to pay their credit card debts instead of recognizing that their future money is very limited. And credit scores heal. They will recover. So if you do something dramatic, you file a bankruptcy, you do debt resolution, and your credit score drops from 780 to 500, you know what? When the debt's gone, it's going back up to 780 eventually.
Plus
And
the-
it's a short road to get there.
And in Rick's case, the credit score is completely insignificant. He's got to worry about survival relative to the income hit he's taken and reallocate his income so that his future is positive, and then the credit score comes back. Kind of think of the credit score as like, you can't do anything about the Lions, and sometimes you can't do anything about the credit score. You just have to deal with it. We'll be back after the break.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP.
Criminal matters are serious. Your freedom, future, and wallet are on the line. Criminal defense attorney Scott Weinberg is a former prosecutor and renowned criminal lawyer. For over 30 years, he's the go-to defender in Michigan to protect your rights. Scott's advice: you have the right to remain silent. Use it. If charged with a crime, call Scott Weinberg today, 888-235-HELP, 888-235-HELP. And remember, stay silent.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers, listen to us for Law and Reality Live on Praise Network and on KISS 105.9 FM. We're on Praise Tuesdays, 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays, 7 o'clock a.m. and on KISS Sundays, 7 o'clock a.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $100 Visa gift card, Law and Reality golf hat, and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Just go to the website, pop your name in on the homepage, and you're entered into the contest. It's a great deal. We've got a seminar coming up on Wednesday, January 22nd, 6 to 7:30 p.m. The name of the seminar is Debt Be Gone. It's going to be a debt elimination seminar which focuses on how to convert you from accumulating debt and being in debt to start saving money for retirement and for your future. The whole goal is you want to get to the point where when you retire, you have a bucket of retirement savings and you have no debt so that you're secure in your future. We'll show you how to get there. We use solutions with bankruptcy and outside of bankruptcy. It's all dependent on your circumstance. We also address tax issues. Jeff Linden's going to do an segment on how to resolve tax problems. Scott Weinberg's also going to attend and talk about family-related criminal law issues that everyone should know about. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Also remember, you can always come into the firm and through Law and Reality for a free consultation. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online on the website and request a consult. There's boxes to check. Debt issues with Brian, tax issues with Jeff, estate planning issues with Brian, business issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, criminal law issues with Scott Weinberg, all available to you. Our free consults are not meet and greets. We analyze the problem, tell you what you need to do to solve the problem, tell you what it's going to cost, tell you how long it's going to take, and we plan out. The goal is the optimal strategy. That's what we're always focusing on. So take advantage of those free consults. Sign up at lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. Also, check out the websites. We've got 4 free reports. Brand new one, Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solution, How to Save your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Michigan, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Michigan Criminal Lawyers, PLC, Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Okay, so let me put up where Rick and Mary stand once we get to the goal, which is we filed the bankruptcy, and let's assume we filed the bankruptcy after and we're able to discharge all the taxes.
And discharge a credit card.
And discharge a credit card debt. Jeff's getting them $2,000 a month, Jeff Kirshner, on the disability going forward. So their income coming in now is $6,666 a month. Their house payment's still $1,750. Let's assume he keeps both cars. He can drive even though he's disabled. So they still have the car payments of $600, phone utilities $350, zero credit card, no payment on the taxes, food and clothing $1,500, miscellaneous $1,000. Their expenses are $5,200. They are now $1,466 positive. If you think about that, when he was working as the painter, making $100,000 a year and servicing the credit card debt and paying on the tax payment that he was behind, he only had $400 a month positive. They're actually going to be better off once we get them to this point.
I want to throw something out here. Let's say...
But I got to ask Jeff about the IRA.
I know, but let's say they walked into my office right now and they still had $100,000 worth of credit card debt, and they still had the tax debt, and they had spent the lump sum that they got from Social Security. I can still put them into a Chapter 7, get rid of their obligations to the IRS, and get rid of their credit card debt. So even though the question was, is it better to file beforehand? The answer is yes. But it's also possible to file afterwards. And
once they spent the money.
Even though they have a $1,466 surplus on paper, Social Security income does not count towards your income and expenses when you're filing for bankruptcy.
All right, so now I'm going to talk about the IRA, though. Okay, and here's what I'm talking about. We're going with the plan of waiting 18 months. Is IRS going to come after them on the $60,000 of taxes they owe? He can't make the $750 a month installment payment. What are you going to do about that? And are they going to take the IRA during this period before we file the bankruptcy? You can protect the IRA once you file the bankruptcy, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, but we got to go the 18 months. What are you going to do to deal with that?
Okay, so the goal here is to buy time so that they can qualify for the bankruptcy and cut this out. So he's going to stop paying his installment payment. He's going to get defaulted. The IRS is eventually going to start knocking and starting their process on trying to collect again. If we do it before the bankruptcy, their allowable expenses under the IRS national standards is more than their net monthly income. So they're going to qualify for a not collectible status at that time, which we'd file for. We get them in
So that means they don't have to pay?
Right. The IRS basically leaves you alone for up to 24 months, and then they'll look at
Right,
it
so
again.
that
But
gets
they're
us
not
to the 18 months.
garnishing your bank account?
They
they're not
won't.
gonna-
They don't. Even if we get currently not collectible, they don't seize anything. They don't garnish anything.
But
they
he
don't
always
send
says,
you
Uncle
anything.
Sam, your IRA is not protected by Uncle Sam. Are they going to take the $10,000 IRA?
No, because you're not collectible right now. They're not going to bother.
And you're going to say the IRA is going to be used to cover their monthly
They need their
expenses
IRA
they
for their
need
monthly
that money to
expenses.
cover their expenses.
Right, and that's
So we'll be okay there. So the hardest thing for them to do is to get between now and the 18 months when Jeff gets them their money, because they're still going to be cash short.
It's only difficult if they don't listen to us, because the roadmap is there and the road is not bumpy, it is smooth, as long as we plot it out.
Well, they still have the problem that they have only $4,600 a month.
No, you know what? I
coming in
looked
now.
at that budget, and this is
You can
this
make
is
it
the
work?
thing. The other part of this is addressing making people.
He's the savior.
It's creative.
The Messiah.
Well, no, it's budget management. When you are tight on cash, the hardest thing to do is to learn to live within your means. And that is, again, something else that we can help with, exploring the opportunities to tighten up a little bit.
You better, because they're going to get back
Well,
into
I
it
just
all
want
over
to
again.
say
if
one
they
thing
don't.
on Rick's behalf, because he's disabled. You're not taking away Netflix, and you're not taking away Prime, because he's stuck at home. He can't work.
Yeah, but he's on probation, so you take away the alcohol.
Right.
Take away the alcohol. There you go. Oh, so he ended up on probation? No
Well,
jail
we got
time?
him all.
Correct.
See, in their situation, they have an advantage because
Poor Mary.
when you
Oh,
you
boy.
can play between what Brian's doing in debt resolution and the tax resolution, because in the standards the IRS uses for collection, there's one category, the food, clothing, and miscellaneous, that the IRS lets you take no matter whether you spend that money or not. Because they're a family of four, they have $1,790 of food and et cetera expense, but they're only spending $1,500, so they could even spend less, but the IRS is still going to credit up to
There you go.
$1,800.
So it all comes back to
go.
combining
That's
everybody's knowledge to come up with the best plan. Have a great week. Thanks, guys. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.